Good afternoon, everyone. We'll just wait for a few more seconds as we have some folks trickling in. Also, some housekeeping items. This is a recorded webinar, and it will be uploaded to our YouTube channel. So by all means, like and subscribe, as it will be today's presentation, but at the same time, a vast library of webinars to address and assist with your small business needs as well. This is a good topic, along with a networking opportunity with fellow small business owners. By all means, introduce yourself, what business you're in, and like that is a great way to connect. And also, we'll be able to have a nice examples based on the conversation from today's presentation from Adriana. And also, if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A. And like that, I myself will be able to ask your questions on your behalf to Adriana. So I want to introduce you all for attending today's webinar. And allow me to introduce you to Alexina Prather from the AccessHelps. She's the director from AccessHelps, and she has some information in terms of how we can assist you with your small business needs.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jesus. I'm just going to take a few minutes at the start of the webinar to introduce you all to AccessHelps if you're not already familiar with this resource. For any small business owner that's local to Miami-Dade County, it's a really great resource to know about. It's available online 24/7 in English, Spanish, and Haitian Creole. And it's available here, you can see on the screen at accesshelps.org. So for the most part, we provide information for small business owners, but also individuals and family members. But if you click through the site a little bit, which I'm going to navigate through today, but feel free to browse afterwards or ask me any questions that you might have. If you click into the small business owner section, you'll see a variety of different resources here, whether it be grants, advice and training, loans. We have a calendar of events. Our opportunities with institutions is a little bit more complicated, but it's a toolkit for anyone that's interested in becoming a vendor with, say, the county or a public school or a larger institution. And then we have a funding guide, which is what I want to share today, a little bit more details on that. So when you click into the funding guide, you'll see some information about what type of resources are available here, why you might want to fund your small business, some details there. All of these drop down and provide a little bit more context. But then as you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see a variety of different lender categories to help really break down the options that are available to small business owners. So as you all may know, or you may learn through this webinar, there's not just one channel to get your business funded, but there are quite a few. So these are 9 different opportunities here that just break it down a little bit to help adjust with the information and kind of digest what's available. So you're going to learn a lot more about CDFIs in a moment, I'm sure. But this is an example of one of the pages and kind of all the details and information that we cover. A few more things I just want to mention are, if you were to click into the grants page, you'll see here that there are a variety of different grants available. Some of them have specific requirements or eligibility criteria, so it's really important to click into the actual program to learn more. But you'll see that once you're on a specific page like this one, we really break it down for you. So the details on how much you could potentially win if you apply for this grant. The applications for this one are coming up on November 15th, so make sure to check it out if you're interested, who's eligible, how you get started, all the different details. This one is fairly short and simple, as you might be able to tell here. There's not a lot of information you need to provide, so it might be a great opportunity for some of you. There's not a lot to do in terms of getting started. Some grants, this is full with a lot of different details. It really, has all the different channels and information that you'll need, but some of them are a little bit easier than others. So that is just an example of one of our grant programs. AccessHelps doesn't run any of these directly. We don't own these programs, but we do want to connect you to them. So that's the main goal of the resource, is to provide information and resources for you all, updated all the time, weekly basis, so that you have accurate information for your small business needs. All right, I have just a few more things I want to mention before I close out and pass the mic. Our calendar of events is really thorough. It has great information about different resources. The event you're on right now, you can see that it's located here. You can also view this in a calendar view if that's easier for you, but just a lot of great resources. Some of these are reoccurring, they happen every week. Some of them are, one-off opportunities. But really want to highlight this as we update this, whenever we hear about a new event, to get that information to all of you. All right, my last thing to share is just this last link. It's accesshelps.org/news. And this is information for you all in terms of business growth and support. So if you want to learn about all the different training programs that are available, if you're a women-owned business and you want to grow, if you, this deadline was back in September, but if you need your local business tax receipt, this is a great article to learn more about it and prepare for next year. So a lot of different resources here, but wanted to just highlight this as an additional resource for everyone. If you want to learn more about a specific topic, it's great to join into these webinars and be able to ask questions in person, but there's also opportunities to kind of sit with these articles and read them on your own time if you're interested. So I know that was information overload. I just want to pause and thank you all for listening. AccessHelps.org. All the information is available on the website. I'll make sure to leave my contact information as well if anyone wants to connect. But thank you all so much for your time, and I will pass it back to Jesus.
Yeah, and Alexina, I have a question for you. Are you able to apply to all, and how many times can you get awarded?
Yes. So as I was mentioning, the different grants that we have here, as you click into them, as you spend some more time on the site, you'll see that they're all offered by different programs. So for example, this one is $5,000 grants for businesses specifically within the city of North Miami Beach. So that's pretty specific, that's a narrow geography, but we want to make sure those businesses that are located there know about it. So some of you may not actually be eligible for that one, and I wouldn't recommend applying unless you're located in that area. Some of these are much broader. They're national opportunities where there's a lot of competition, still really great to apply for, but they might not be a Miami-Dade County local opportunity. So my kind of response to that question is just to make sure you click into each opportunity, make sure you're eligible before you apply, and then just recognize that there's different programs running these. So for the most part, you're likely only applying to one thing once. Unless it comes up the next year, you'll have to look into that specific program to see if they accept you to reapply. Most times grants do. Most times if you don't receive the grant from applying, they'll let you reapply. But that all depends on the specific program. So in terms of AccessHelps, you are able to apply for anything you find here as long as you're eligible from the program. So I just encourage you to look a little bit further into the details and see what those are. We will list that on the page if that information is available to us. And I didn't mention this before, but it's related to this. We have a newsletter that we send out every week. So if you want to receive these updates from us in terms of the deadlines, who's eligible, kind of all the details, I highly recommend signing up for that newsletter because we'll make sure to get those details, straight into your inbox.
Yep, and as promised, Alexina is going to give me all the information, and also along with contact information, the AccessHelps website, so like that it will be attached towards today's presentation and the link as well. So like that any additional questions, she'll be able to guide you through the next steps.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Alexina. And now allow me to introduce you to Adriana Contreras. She is the lending manager of Ascendus that will be presenting today's topic. So like I said, any questions, put them in the Q&A, and I'll be able to speak on your behalf. So without further ado, Adriana, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. I hope you're enjoying your Tuesday, and then you're having a good lunch if you're taking a break from work. So I'm going to go over with the presentation. Let's see here. Jesus, are you covering the Business Navigator program, or you want me to do it?
Do it.
Okay, perfect. So as you guys know, we're sponsored by the SBA. The webinar that you participate in is through the Miami-Dade Business Navigator program, which is sponsored and is funded by the U.S. Business Administration. The program is a pilot program that was established in 2021. It uses Community Navigator to approach and be able to help small businesses with economic recovery. The Lee Hub at the center of a network is a spoke of organizations that deploy community advocates to work with businesses on recovery and resilience. Is up to 100 million to 51 grantees, and then the funding is broken into 3 tiers, which is national, state, regional, and local. So the one that we're doing right now is regional through Miami-Dade. I know all businesses located in Miami-Dade County. Okay. What is the community program Navigator pilot about? Is to pretty much improve long-term economic recovery and resilience among small businesses within the county. Our main focus is to pretty much help those individuals owned by veterans, women, as well as socially and economically disadvantaged individuals. Organizations that participating in the program include us, Ascendus, branches, EDC, the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce, Prospera, Startup FIU Procurement, and of course the local SBDC at FIU. You probably participated in other organizations and other workshops that were given out by various organizations. So it's always good to make sure that you're checking out the calendar through the Business Navigator website. So you're keeping up to date to whatever organization is giving out a presentation that you might be interested in. Access to credit, access to capital, how to build a business plan, how to do contracts with the city of Miami, etc. So always making sure that you're looking out for those particular events. So if you're interested and it's something that is particular an interest for you and your business, that also take advantage of that and participate, because all events are free of charge. What is the Miami-Dade Business Navigator program? It's a coalition of partners which secure about 2.5 million to create the program for Miami-Dade County businesses. The main focus is to create a local community navigator network to assist socially economic disadvantaged businesses with consulting, mentoring, as well as training. If you're interested in participating in the program, you have multiple resources. You can go directly to the website, which is the miamibusinessnavigator.com. You have our phone number on there as well if you're interested about reaching out, asking more information, as well as social media and then YouTube. As Jesus mentioned before, once the webinar is finished recording, it's going to be posted on YouTube, so individuals can go back and look at the webinar as well. For any questions, just go directly to the website and you're able to sign up for the program, as well as start receiving consulting and mentoring from any other organizations that are participating in the program. If you're interested in requesting a meeting with an expert, business consultants, you can also go ahead and use the QR code that is listed on the screen, and then you'll be able to set up as well an appointment directly with a business consultant to start with your mentoring needs and your consulting needs. So now that we've finished talking about the Community Navigator program, now we're going to talk about a little bit about Ascendus. Who is Ascendus? What we do? So like I said, my name is Adriana Contreras. I'm the lending manager for Florida. Okay, for Ascendus. We are a nonprofit CDFI microlender. So CDFI is a community development financial institution that provides access to capital. Okay, since we're doing it since 1991. Officially and originally, we were Axion East. That was part of the Axion international network that we used to provide access to capital to developing countries, but in 2020, we decided to rebrand ourselves, and now we're known as Ascendus. We have over 25 years of lending experience in the US, and we have helped over 67,000 small business owners nationwide, and provided over $600 million in business loans nationwide. We have here in Florida, we have offices in Miami as well as in Orlando. So we cover the entire state of Florida. And then we also provide, of course, access to capital nationwide, with our headquarters being in New York and also with offices in Boston. For the past 30 years, our main mission has been to be able to help empowering low to moderate income business owners with access to capital and support. So why microfinance? Usually when you're thinking about applying for a small business loan, you have several options. You can either reach out to friends or family members. You can use your credit cards, which we typically don't recommend due to the high interest rate. Then you have the microloans that are provided by CDFIs. Then you have the bank loans and the SBA loans, and then finally you have the option of equity and investments. So pretty much, as you can see on the screen, we are the middlemen. We are those that offer flexible and low interest access to capital. Okay, in order to be able for you to grow your business, to receive the capital that you need. So in a few years, later on, you can transition from having a microloan to moving to the bank and having a traditional bank loan or an SBA loan. The reason that the majority of the business don't qualify for a bank loan is because they don't meet the particular criteria. What is the criteria that the banks are looking for? Your business has to be in operations and generate revenue for over 2 years. You need to have a specific amount of revenue that the business has to be generating consecutively for 2 years in a row, and also credit requirements. So always keep that in mind. Yes, you have other options. If you're not thinking about getting a loan or you're not interested because you said, well, I don't want to go through the process, maybe a credit card is easy, etc. Just always keep in mind that credit cards interest rates are really high. So at the end of the day, you might be paying more towards interest for that capital that you received for your business. Safe and affordable alternative lenders. As you can see here, you have all the lender options that when you're thinking about getting access to capital, you have community banks, you have us, you have pure lending such as Lending Club and Prosper, you have credit cards, and you have payday lenders. We're in the middle. So we help those individuals who have strong credit, but then we also help those individuals that have no credit history at all, that just recently moved to the US, they're establishing their credit, etc. Then you also have the community banks that they do tend to offer lower interest rate. And then, like as I mentioned before, your credit cards. One of the lenders that we don't recommend is the payday lenders. Why? Those payday lenders includes companies like Cabbage or On Deck. When you're getting access capital through them, they never disclose the interest rate or the fine print of the contract that you're signing. We have a lot of clients that run into issues with this. Why? Because they received the capital that they need, but they were never aware that the payments were gonna be daily or weekly or or every 2 weeks, and then that the payments were gonna be so high. So at the end of the day, what the lenders do, yes, they give you the access to capital, but at the same time is hurting your business cash flow. So we typically, if you have the option, try to stay away from this predatory lenders, as we call them, because at the end of the day, you're going to be, your business is going to suffer, and then your cash flow is going to be suffering. So if you're thinking about, if you already have a loan with them and you're thinking, okay, well, I need to get a bigger loan now to pay them off, always consider that whatever lender you're applying a loan with, they always have to consider whatever you paid to the particular payday lenders into coverage purposes in order to make sure that you're able to sustain and pay all your business expenses, as well as your personal living expenses and whatever other outstanding loans that you have out there. So always keep that in mind when you're thinking about cash flow for your business, okay? Different funding sources for businesses. So you have grants that are either given by government, banks, private institutions, individual donors. Then you have capital where you can get, like I said, from banks, which is usually low interest rate. The lowest interest rate that I've seen from banks actually are credit unions, local credit unions. So always make sure that you check in with your local credit union to see what the interest rate they're offering. And of course, you have donations from individuals or corporations. Then you have also business loans that are also low in interest rate through the Small Business Administration and Kiva. And then finally, when it comes to revenue, then you also have interest in, in fee income that you could go ahead and use, or maybe public or private partnership or referral programs. So you have a variety of options to consider when you're thinking about access to capital. Don't just make sure that you're doing your work, your homework. Research about all the options that you're measuring, okay, that you have available. Don't just jump in for the first thing, because at the end of the day, you won't know whether, like I mentioned before, the first loan that you're getting, it might be from a payday lender, and you will never disclose the terms of the loan or how much you will be paying, etc. So make sure you always do your homework, just to make sure that your business won't be hurt in a few years from now from getting that particular loan from that particular lender. The C's of borrowing. So when it comes to applying for a loan, whether it is through a lender, okay, or through the SBA or through your local bank, they always look at this. They always look at your credit. How good is your credit? Have you paid your credit good? Your credit cards, etc. Your cash flow, as I mentioned before. Does your business have sufficient income at the end of each month to be able to cover an additional loan payment to this particular financial institution? If you're able to provide collateral. Finally, character. So what is character? Character explains a little bit more about you as a business owner and as an individual. How long have you been operating your business? Okay. Do you have any collections showing up on your credit, like medical collections or past utility bills or anything like that? This is what your character is defined by. Also, if you have any criminal records in the past. So keep in mind that these are the 4 C's of borrowing for any financial institution that you're thinking about applying for a loan with. So what is credit? Pretty straightforward. Credit is the ability to borrow money and manage it responsibly. So you buy now and then you pay tomorrow, okay? That's pretty much what it means. So making sure that the credit that you currently have on your credit report is accurate, and then making sure that you always double checking at least once a month to make sure that what is reflecting on your credit is actually the debt that you currently have. You don't want anything showing up on there that is not supposed to. And if you have anything that is showing up on there that is not supposed to, then make sure you take care of it before applying for a loan. You wouldn't believe the number of clients that we worked with that have collections showing up on there. Utilities such as T-Mobile, AT&T, maybe even their internet providers. They're just reporting there as a collection. They didn't even know till we pull their credit. So always do your work, check your credit before you apply for a business loan. So if you have any negative items reporting on there, you can work on that to get those removed, improve your credit score, and then finally apply for a loan. What is the importance of credit as for the individual? So for a person, credit is important to be able to buy a home, to rent an apartment, to borrow money, even if it's like a credit card or an unsecured personal loan, to finance your car auto loan or your auto lease, even to get an insurance policy or applying for a job. For your business, credit is important in order to be able to grow, sustain your business, improve your cash flow, your capacity, buy inventory, buy equipment, or even obtain working capital. So as you see, credit just doesn't work one way. No, you might think, oh, well, my credit is not important for my business. Yes, your credit is important for you as an individual and then for your business as well, if you do have a business. So always keep that in mind. So whatever is reflected on your personal credit is also going to be able to affect the likelihood of you getting a business loan with a lender. So always keep that in mind. It's always very important. What is credit history? So pretty much credit history is the summary of the payments that are reporting on your personal credit report. And what I mean personal credit report, your credit report with Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. This is a history of payments towards your credit cards, any loans that you might have, whether they're auto loans, personal loans, unsecured loans, etc. Mortgages, and as I mentioned before, any medical bills or utility bills that might be outstanding and reporting as a collection. A few other things that might be reporting on your credit include bankruptcies, any liens that you might have. And what I mean by liens, if you owe any federal or state taxes, they can also report on your credit as well. Okay, and any judgments. So any judgments, any civil cases that you might have where you owe a particular vendor or you unfortunately weren't able to complete a particular contract for your business, those are the items that are also reporting on your credit. So always keep looking at your credit to make sure that your credit is reflected and updated accurately, at least once a month. The credit history today, the scoring system. So how does it work? About 10% is new credit. So anything that you got recently in the past month counts for 10% of your credit score. 30 is amounts owed. So any revolving balance that you might be having under. The types of credit that you use, meaning is it credit cards, is it auto loans, is it a mortgage, is it a personal loan? How long, 50% is how long you had those particular debts reporting on your credit. And then finally, the biggest one is 35%, which is payment history, meaning are you paying those particular lenders on time? Have you been late in the past 30 days or in the past 60 days? If you've been late or they're reporting a payment as late and you're like, oh no, I've made that payment on time. As I said before, make sure to contact the credit bureaus directly and dispute that so they can go ahead and change that. Because the likelihood of of having credit payments showing up as late, yes, it can happen. It's not something that, yes, once in a while you might have a payment on there. It might be your fault, it might be their fault. But that's what I said before. It's always important to be always checking in order to determine whether your credit score, FICO credit score, is being reflected accurately. There's also something I want to point out. There's a difference between a FICO score and a CoAdvantage credit score. So a FICO score is the actual credit score that is shown to financial institutions, okay? So this is bank, CDFIs, lenders, etc. We see the FICO score. Whatever you're seeing on your credit cards, weekly summary and monthly that they send you through like Credit Karma or like Capital One or any other credit cards that you have where you provide you your free credit score. This is the CoAdvantage score. So the CoAdvantage score is an average, okay, score of all the 3 credit bureaus, okay? But that doesn't mean that your CoAdvantage score and Credit Karma is going to be exactly as your FICO score. Always keep that in mind. There's always going to be a difference. So I usually tell clients, if you see in your Credit Karma that you have a credit score of 600, then I tell them to be safe, deduct 15 points from that. And then that's most likely what your FICO score is going to be. So you have a more accurate, okay, average of what your actual FICO score is going to be when it's time to to apply for a business loan. So the credit score, the FICO, the lowest that it goes to is 350. The highest is 850. Usually a credit score above 600 is considered fair, but always double check what your credit is, okay, to make sure that you know before applying for any business loans. Any institution to apply for a loan, the credit requirements are completely different. They're gonna vary from institution to institution, to make sure that you're checking that to see if you meet their particular credit score requirement. If you don't meet it, then you have to meet with a nonprofit organization, which through the Miami-Dade Business Navigator program, we can refer you to help you build your credit, to be able to see if there's anything on there that shouldn't be supposed to be, in order for you to be able to get you to that next step, okay, of once you build your credit is good, then you can go ahead and apply for access to capital. So this is when it's always important to make sure that you're accessing your local resources, such as the Miami-Dade Business Navigator program for free consulting and advice for your business in order to be eligible to qualify for access to capital later on in the future.
And Adriana,
Yeah.
before you go to the next slide, I have a question. The score on your bank, the FICO score, is correct?
No. So whatever is reporting on your bank, whether it's Capital One or Chase, Bank of America, it is a credit CoAdvantage score. It's a CoAdvantage. It's not a FICO score. The only way for you to determine your FICO score is if you have, I'm going to show the link in I think in the next slide. Annually, the government gives you access to pull your credit report for free with all 3 credit bureaus. And then whatever is reporting there, that is your FICO score. But what you're seeing right now on your bank or Credit Karma, that is your CoAdvantage score. So like I always say, whatever is showing up on your bank or Credit Karma, deduct 15 points from that in order to get a more realistic of idea of what your actual FICO score will be when it's time to apply for a loan with a bank. Okay, so let's move with the next one. So how do you manage credit? Like I said, make sure that you're making your payments on time to any debt that might be reporting on your personal credit. Making sure that you're keeping a healthy percentage of available revolving credit. So making sure that you don't go over your credit limits on your credit cards. And making sure that if you are over your credit limits with the credit cards, then make sure you're working towards that to be able to pay those off, lower the balances in order to improve your credit score. Diversify your trade lines, meaning don't have just credit cards reporting on there. If you have the opportunity, then try to have a credit card, an auto loan, mortgage, etc. Making sure that you're paying your credit cards, one by one. If there's anything that is reporting on there that is not supposed to, as I mentioned before, then making sure you're reaching out through the credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion to address those particular issues before applying for any loans for your business. And then, as I mentioned before, credit reports, you have the option of checking your credit score annually for free through the federal website, which is www.annualcreditreport.com. It only allows you to do it once a year. Okay, once you go in, you put your personal information. It's going to ask you to verify your identity by asking you multiple security questions. And then you can go ahead and pull your credit report directly from the 3 credit bureaus. And that's going to give you your actual FICO score. But like I said, this option with the federal government is only available once a year. And then finally, you can use also myfico.com to see a copy of your credit report. But for myfico.com, you do have to pay a fee. Okay, so you do have those resources available in addition to whatever other resources you're using with your either local bank or like Credit Karma. So keep that in mind. Always be proactive. Always making sure, like I said, to check your credit at least once a month if you have the ability to do so. And then take advantage of the resources that you have. If you have Credit Karma, or if you do have Capital One or Chase or whichever bank you're working with, that whether it provide you your CoAdvantage score on a weekly basis, then go ahead and look at it. They'll also give you the option to check your credit, whatever's reporting. But also keep in mind that it's never going to be the actual FICO score that lending institutions are looking at. So always keep that in your head. Okay. Now that I went over credit, so you have a little bit more of an understanding what is the lenders are looking for, okay, when it comes to applying for a loan. Now I'm just going to go over the basic requirements to when it comes to applying for access to capital with Ascendus, okay? Requirements are pretty straightforward. You need to have a minimum credit score of 575. Or as I mentioned before, if you recently moved here to the US for a foreign country and you still don't have a credit established, it's fine. As long as you have an IT number or a social security, you're eligible to apply. You can't have more than $3,000 in past due debt. And what I mean by past due debt, any collections that might be showing up. I covered that in the previous slide. So collections might be anything that past due, medical bills, utilities, any federal or state tax liens that might be pending. So it can't exceed more than $3,000. Okay, in the case that you do have 3,000 over, then you need to work on those particular items. Okay, start paying them off, lowering the balances, and then you know that you'll be eligible to apply. Something that is important when it comes to the past due, because we have a lot of clients that apply for a loan with us, but then they think that for some reason we don't look at federal or local tax, IRS liens, okay? So keep that in mind. If you do owe taxes to the federal government, okay, we're gonna take that into consideration as past due debt as well. So it's always good to make sure that you're checking your taxes, see if you have any old past year of taxes for your business or individually. Make sure you schedule a payment plan with the IRS in order to be able to work in achieving the goal of paying that debt off directly with them. Other requirements is you can't have a bankruptcy in the last year. If by any chance you had a bankruptcy in the past year, then you would need to wait a full year from when the bankruptcy was discharged in order for you to be eligible to apply. Same goes with foreclosure. No foreclosures in the last 2 years. If you just recently had a foreclosure, same applies. You need to wait 1 year exactly from when the foreclosure was discharged. And then finally, no late payments on mortgage or rent. So you can't have any payments in the past year okay, towards your mortgage or rent, home rent. If you do have a late payment reporting on there, then unfortunately you're going to have to wait a full year from when the last late payment was made in order to be eligible. Okay, so those are the basic credit requirements when it comes to you as an individual. Okay, now the requirements for a business itself. The business has to be registered, of course, with the state of Florida through sunbiz.org. So you need to be in operations, and you do need to have all the licenses in place, which for whatever business you have, then make sure that you're also doing the due diligence and checking what license your particular business has. If you have a restaurant, you know you need a license for that. If you have a beauty salon, same goes with that. So like I said, this is when it comes in handy using resources such as the Miami-Dade Business Navigator program, because if you're starting a business or if you have a business and you don't know, oh wait, do I need this license? Should I get this license? Is it mandatory for me to get this license? Then that's where we come in and then provide you the consulting and the mentoring that you need and do the research to see, okay, you might need this license. Oh, actually, you know what? It's not mandatory. So making sure that you have all your licenses in place, and then they're all valid, of course, okay? And then the business has to be in operations for 6 months. So what I mean, 6 months, the business has to be registered with the state of Florida for a minimum of 6 months, okay? And then you need to have 6 months of bank statements, business bank statements, okay? And then finally, eligible industries. We pretty much work with all industries here in Florida. Our main industries that we work with are transportation, retail, restaurants, beauty salons, and tax accountants, construction. Those are the top that we usually work with. The industries that unfortunately we don't work with, because remember, we are a nonprofit community development financial institution. We don't work with real estate. So anything that involves flipping houses, buying houses and reselling them, et cetera, we can't do that. Adult entertainment, any drug paraphernalia, firearms, products that are not approved by the FDA, etc. Pyramid business such as Avon or Herbalife, we don't do any of those, unfortunately. For this particular businesses, and you also have the option of going directly with the SBA to see if you have options with the SBA for obtaining a business loan with them. Now, I'm just going to go over the programs that we have currently. We have the traditional lending microloan that are business loans from 500 all the way to 20,000. The current interest rate is 7.99 all the way to 9.99. In order to be determined whether an individual is eligible for any of our loans, we do a soft pull to see if the client does meet the credit requirements or if they have any collections showing up on there. And we don't hard pull on your credit until we make sure that you meet the credit requirements and your business is eligible, okay? And what I mean by eligible, like I said before, register with the state and you have 6 months of bank statements, okay? We don't like to pull hard credit pull unnecessarily. Why? Every time you apply for a loan, a credit card, or unsecured loan with a bank, etc. Every time a credit pull is done, a hard pull, it's going to impact your credit score. So your credit score is going to go down depending on the institution. It can go from 5 to 10 points down. So always keep that in mind. Just, you might be getting a lot of offers in the mail, via email, etc. about, here's an offer for a credit card, apply now, etc. You wouldn't believe the number of people that we get. Oh no, but I received an offer in the mail. I accepted it, thinking that I was gonna, maybe see how much. Guess what? That particular credit card company that sent you the offer in the mail, they're gonna pull your credit, and that credit pull is gonna be showing up on your credit report as a recent inquiry, and it's gonna impact your credit score. So always keep that in mind. When it comes to us, we provide affordable interest rate, and then there's no prepayment penalty, meaning you can pay off the loan whenever you want to. The other program that we currently have that ends in December is the SOAR program. It's the Southern Opportunity Reliance Fund. This program was created to assist businesses that were affected by COVID, okay? These are loans from 500 all the way to 100. The interest rate is 4%. We offer the option of flexible payments, so only payments for the first year. In order to be eligible to qualify, the business needs to have, as an individual, you need to have a credit score of 575 or no credit history. And then the business needs to be established and operating prior to September 2019. So if you started your business after September 2019, unfortunately, you wouldn't qualify for the program. You will be eligible to qualify for the traditional microloan that goes up to 20,000. How do we verify whether your business was established? Then I go back to the focus on SUMBIZ, making sure that your business is registered with the state of Florida, okay? And then finally, your business needs to have annual revenues less than 5 million. And then businesses can be located in any other states listed on there. But like I said, we work primarily with the state of Florida, as well as we have an internet department team that manages the rest of the states nationwide. If you guys have any questions at all, Jesus is going to be sharing the PowerPoint with you, as well as the link for the YouTube video. But if you have any questions about the programs that we offer, how to contact us, you can call us directly, okay, through the number listed on the screen, or you can email us. I don't recommend applying first because, like I said, once you submit an application, you don't know if you meet the credit requirements, good. But then always keep that in mind that once you submit an application for a loan, we're always going to do a soft pull on your credit. So making sure that you meet the criteria first, okay? All the requirements are established. And how do you do that? Then you work directly with the Miami-Dade Business Navigator program to make sure that you receive the counseling and mentoring that you need prior to applying for a business loan.
Good. Thank you very much, Adriana. So far, we have 2 questions.
Sure.
One of them is from Melissa. She would like you to please repeat what website you recommended for the free FICO score, please.
Yeah, of course. Let me go back to the slide. So the website is www.annualcreditreport.com. And like I said, this is a federal website where you can get your free credit report and FICO score for free only once a year. So let's say you do it tomorrow, November 2nd. Okay, then November 9th. Sorry, I have my days confused. Then you're only able to do it again next year, November 9th. So you can only do it once a year because it's a free resource that the federal government provides to you.
Great, thank you very much. The second question is from Lisa. She said that if you already have some business credit, a small credit card, how do you obtain more? And how long does that take? Specifically looking to lease a car or obtain an auto loan under the business?
So here's the thing. If you have a business credit card, the first thing that you have to be checking whether that business credit card is reporting with the Business Credit Bureau, which is Duns and Bradstreet. Okay. You have to be checking because if it's the business credit card is not reporting on there, then most likely the business credit card that you obtain, yes, it is under the business name, but it might be reporting on your personal credit. So that's the first thing. In order for you to be able to obtain any loans under your business name and not your personal credit, then you have to check the particular lender to see if they're able to do that, and then make sure they report with Duns and Bradstreet. That's the only way that you're able to obtain business credit, okay? Any other loan that you apply with is always going to be through your personal credit, and it's always going to be reporting on your personal credit report as a business loan with a personal guarantee.
Okay, so good. We're good with the question, Jesus, for the final vote.
Yeah. So if there is a random question that pops up, throughout the day, I am also putting my email address in the chat so that you could send me an email with your question, and I'll be able to forward it to Adriana to answer it as well. But like I said, once again, this is a recorded webinar, so I will be able to email you today's presentation, the link for the YouTube channel, along with Alexina's information as well, along with the upcoming events, the links on how AccessHelps can assist you, along how Ascendus can assist you under the Miami-Dade Business Navigator program. Like I said, this is our website, and also follow our social media channels at Miami-Dade Biz Nav, which is on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, along our YouTube channel. Like and subscribe, because that is how we're able to generate additional information for you for your business needs. Also, just a random question. What are your 2023 goals? What do you want to accomplish? We could assist you pretty much how to take it to the next phase of your business. Like I said, we have a no-cost business consulting at your disposal. and in terms of access to capital, marketing, e-commerce, improving your credit to become bankable, government contracting, all the different facets of what small business entails. We have specialized consultants to assist you. So like I said, we're family. We started as strangers, we're living as family, and we're looking forward to seeing you in the next webinars. So thank you once again. Thank you, Alexina. Thank you, Adriana. And like I said, we'll be in communication with the next upcoming events, and I'll look forward to seeing you at the next webinar. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.